So I don't really look back on life with a ton of regret. I really don't regret, my experience growing up. I learned so many lessons in that environment. But there is one area of regret that I have. That's tough for me, but I've learned from it as well. And it's in regards to my dad. I remember that in that time where dad had gotten back together with mom and they got remarried, that dad gave me a Christian CD, a Christian rap group called DC Talk. It was like a new thing. I was like, I'm not listening to this Christian rap, kind of just tossed it to the side. Little did I know they would become one of my favorite groups of all time later on. But my dad was really one of those Jesus freak kind of guys. Like if he helped you pull over on the side of the road to help you change your flat tire, you were going to get the Jesus story. That's just how he was, or how he became. And so I remember I was in the sixth grade, and the school I was at had a program, a science class, to where we would actually watch our science class on the TV from the University of Alabama, where they would do the instruction, and we would watch that. And it was kind of this new approach to teaching science. And each week, a school got to be featured from somewhere in Alabama on the actual show. And it just so happened that it was my school's time to be featured on the show. And only the top 15 students in all of the sixth grade at the time got a chance to go down to be on the show. And I was one of those. And I was very, very, very excited about this. The only thing is that they needed parents to drive down. Alabama was, 2.5 hours or so away from our school. And so they needed parents to transport us down and back. And we needed like $5 for lunch, a little bit of spending money. And so I got the bright idea. Call my dad, Had a couple friends that were going to ride with us. And I was like, Dad, are you willing to drive 3 hours up to pick us up, drive 2.5 hours to Alabama, drive 2.5 hours back to drop us off, and then drive 3 hours home? And he says, yes, son, absolutely, I'll do it. And so I was excited. I had we had it all planned out, and I knew that my dad would also, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, he's going to have the money for my lunch too, so I'm going to be able to go, and it's not going to be a worry. But unfortunately, I started thinking, what do you think is going to happen if my friends and I are in the car with my dad for 5 hours? Well, he's going to tell them about Jesus. And I don't know that I want my friends to really hear this Jesus story over and over. And so I started planning, and I went and I cut a few yards, and talked to my step granddad, and I got $8, just enough. And I found another friend I could ride with, and so I called my dad. I said, you know what? That's a lot of driving. You know what? No, you don't have to come. No worry, we got it handled. It would have been nice to see you, but no worries. But in reality, I was just afraid that he was going to talk about Jesus to my friends. And the day before we're supposed to go just happened to be one of those nights where mom was out. And when those times came, we used to kind of hide our money. And Bear was really good, my older brother, at hiding his and making sure that we put it in a place where mom couldn't find it or couldn't ask for it. But I was a softie when it came to mom, and she asked for that little money that I had for the field trip the next day, and I remember the next morning I got up and I was determined that I was going to go, and I was just going to skip lunch. I didn't need that lunch money, but I was ready to go. So I'm up at 6 in the morning, I'm heading out, and mom says, where are you going? I said, hey, I'm going on the trip. She said, well, you don't have the lunch money, so you're not going to go today. And unfortunately, I had to miss that trip, and I went to school, and everybody asked, Jeremy, aren't you supposed to be there? You worked so hard to get in the top 15. And It was rough. And I look back at that, and even though as much as painful as it was to watch our classmates on the screen and me not be there, I look back now, and the thing that I'm most dissatisfied with was that I was afraid that my dad would talk about Jesus to my friends. Because you see, that was one of the few times I would have ever been able to see my dad, probably the last time I would have been able to see him. And that would have been such a sweet experience, because not too long after, he passed away. He drowned fishing 2 days before my 13th birthday. And I don't get those experiences anymore. And that was one of the few that I could have had. And it was around that time that my own faith journey began as a young man.